Okay, so students, we are going to start limiting factor MCQs from Study Hub. Obviously, again, we know that every chapter in every chapter MCQs are very important. So not only from my side, I will do Study Hub but from your side as well, you have to do other sources as well in MCQs, like for example, Kaplan, for example, BPP, for extra practice. As much as practice you can do, you must do that because obviously exam is full of like technicality. So you have to be you must make sure that everything is covered. Let us start. So a company produces three products, D, E, and F. The statement below shows the selling price, product cost of the units of each product. Okay, there are three products, D, E, and F. There are three products. If you see, there are three products, D, E, and F. So they're saying that all the data is given, the data is given, and the time in process in minutes also given. Process A time is limited to 2500 hours per period. Obviously, it seems like it's the limiting factor. It seems like it is the limiting factor. So they're asking you if traditional contribution approach is used. Traditional means that if we use the ranking process like we have done in single product ranking, no, sorry, a single limiting factor. Obviously, there is single limiting factor only. Only process A time is limited, so it's the limiting factor here. It's the limiting factor here. So let us start. Let us start the question. If the traditional contribution approach is used, what will be the ranking of the product? So we know that ranking is always done on the basis of contribution per limiting factor. And we know that there are three products, D, E, and F. D, E, and F. So first we will calculate contribution per limiting factor. If you see, contributions are given in every product. Is that given? No. So no issue. Contribution is simple. Selling price minus all variable costs. So variable costs are like these first three, like material, labor, and variable overheads. So we'll deduct variable cost from selling price to calculate the contribution first. So let us calculate 32 minus 10 minus 6 minus 4. It will be 12 contribution for D. Then for E, 28 minus 8 minus 4 minus 2. It will be 14 contribution here, and 22 minus 6 minus 4 minus 2, it will be 10 contribution here. So contribution we have got, but on the basis of only contribution we can't do the ranking. We have to calculate contribution per limiting factor. Now these limiting factor are given in for the minutes. Let us calculate for hours. Let us calculate, just divide by 60. Every minutes should be divided by 60 to calculate. It will be 0.333 and so on. The 25 divided by 60 will be 0.417, and 15 divided by 60, it will be 0.25. Now what we will do, these are the contributions for all the products and these are the limiting factor per unit. So we'll do contribution per limiting factor, just divide contribution on limiting factor. So 12 divided by 0.3333, it will be almost 36. Contribution for limiting factor for D. 14 divided by 0.417, it will be almost 33.6, and 10 divided by 0.25, it will be 40. It will be 40. So according to this, we come to know that at first we will make F, then we will make D, and at last we will make E. Third will be E. So it will be F, then D, then E. So option will be C. Option will be C here. Option will be C here, right? Okay, let's go on the next question. Let's go to the next question. Uh, okay, next question. A makes four products: economy, standard, premium, deluxe. Selling price, variable cost, direct labor hours given. In the coming period, the shortage of direct labor hours means direct labor means that A can only manufacture three products. In order to maximize short-term profit, which product should not be produced? Okay, obviously that product should not be produced, which is having the ranking number 4 at the last ranking. The last ranking, let us calculate that. So if you see, the labor hours are actually these labor hours are actually limiting factor. And again, we have to calculate contribution per limiting factor. First, we will calculate the contribution. So 18 minus 13, 18 minus 13, sorry, 28 minus 13. It's 15, 15 contribution here. 32 minus 16, 16 contribution here 17 contribution, and here 18 contribution. So we have calculated contribution per unit. Now we'll calculate contribution per limiting factor. So 15 divided by 0.17, it will be almost 88, 88.2. Then 16 divided by 0.22, it will be 72.72, 72.73 almost. After that, 17 divided by 0.28, it will be 60.7, and 18 divided by 0.31, it will be 58. It will be 58 almost. So if you see, the product that is having the lowest contribution per limiting factor is deluxe. So deluxe we have to not to produce, because it will not maximize the profit with it, because it is having least contribution amongst all products. So deluxe will be the answer. D will be the answer here, right? After that, so question number three now. Question number three now. Uh, the following statement has been made about outsourcing. Outsourcing an activity always lead to short-term cost savings. No. See, if you are having any limiting factor, assume you are having any limiting factors, means you are not having the resources to produce the product, make the product. So you're outsourcing that. Maybe that product is having like like generating the cost for you, generating more cost for you. Maybe if you are having the resources, you have made the product in 10. Maybe it's like selling price of that product. If you're outsourcing, it's 15 maybe. So always it's cost saving. No, sometimes you are like, you can't do anything. Why? Because you are having a limited resource. But you know that if I am having the resources, I would have made this product in 10, but outside it's being you can take in 15. So in this case, it's the extra cost, not saving. So always savings. No, sometimes savings, sometimes cost. Outsourcing, this statement is false. Outsourcing an activity normally reduces the risk of underutilizing the resources used in undertaking the activity internally. Yes. See, for example, if you are making the product internally, you are having resources. I'm just considering you are having the resources, and these resources you are having, you are making the product internally. Now, if you are making the product internally, there is the risk that complete resource is not used. Complete, maybe you are having 100 labor hours, but obviously making that product only takes 80 labor hours. So that 20 hours will be underutilized. They will not be completely utilized, because products needs only 80 hours, not 100 hours. So these 20 hours can be underutilized. Maybe you have arranged the labor for 100 hours, but product takes only 80 hours. So if you have granted the wage with the labor, you have to pay them. If you are giving the fixed salary, you have to pay them. So there is a risk that you are underutilizing the labor if you are doing internally. On the other hand, if you have outsourced the product, if you have outsourced the activity or the product, so you will pay only for the product you have purchased. Pay for the product only, product you purchased. Only have you have paid to pay the product for you have purchased. You will not pay for like more products. You will only pay for your product. There is no scenario of underutilization or overutilization in that scenario. You just pay for the product or activity and take from outside. If you are making internally, there is a risk. There is a risk that you can underutilize your resources. Maybe you are having more resources, but you are not utilizing all of them because your units are limited, your demand is limited. So this is written that outsourcing the activity normally reduces the risk of underutilizing the resources if that activity is done internally. So yes, this statement is true. So answer will be B. False. Statement 1 is false. Statement 2 is true. Okay. Next question. Okay, it's the question like, nice question. The following graph relates to linear programming problem. Okay, this is the linear programming graph. The objective is to maximize the cost. Okay, you have to maximize the cost. That's the objective function. And the dotted line on the graph depicts it's this function. Dotted line, this line basically, that is showing you the function. Function means this is actually ISO contribution line. ISO contribution line that we have to make at the end. There are three constants which are of the less than or equal to type, which are depicted on the graph. Okay, you have just plotted all the constants lines here, just we have done in the practice. So they're asking you that at which intersection the contribution is maximized. Of obviously it's very easy, it's very easy. You know the rule, you know the rule here, you know the simple rule here. What we do with the iso contribution line, we just drag the line and we see that what is the first point, first intersection point that will reach. If you see this internal, if you see this internal part, only there is one point, this one, only there is one point, this one, that can be touched with this iso contribution line. If the graph is like this one, like for example this line, and for example this line. Oh sorry, maybe I have done this, wait. Mm. And one line is like this, I am making that like, wait a minute. One line is this, second is this line, and for example the third line is like mm, 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 this one. This type. Now you see there are two intersection point in the graph. This is one intersection point and this is one intersection point. And when we make iso contribution line, we drag this line and we see that which point is far away from this. If this point is coming, for example, we are dragging this like iso contribution line, this point, for example, this point is coming first, so it will not be the point that is making you maximum contribution. We'll see which point is far away. So if there are 2 points, then there is issue, then there is you have to drag the point and you have to see. When there is 2 points in the region, you have to drag the iso contribution line to see which point is far away. That point, that intersected point will be the best point. But in this graph that you are given with, if you see, generally if you see simple, in this region only there is one point, one intersection point that is given here. Only there is one intersection point that is given here. So obviously this point will be the intersection point where you will generate the maximum contribution, means it's the optimum point. Okay, so now they're asking that at which intersection. So we have to see that which lines are given here. So this point, if you see this point is from this line and this line. So this line is basically showing you 1, and this line is of 3, means 1 and 3 line are intersecting. 2 line, if you see the second line, the number 2 line, it's out of the region, it's out of the region, so it's ignored. It's ignored. The point that is obviously the optimum point, the one number 1 line and number 3 line, they are intersecting, and that at that intersected point, it's the optimum point where your contribution will be maximized. So answer will be 1 and 3. Answer will be 1 and 3. And 5, this is also a graph given. A company manufacture and sells two products X and Y for which the contribution are 8 and 20. Okay, both products have the contribution, right? The company aims to maximize profit. Okay. Two materials G and H are used in manufacturing of each product. Both materials are in short supply. Okay, both materials are in short supply. Which materials? G and H. Only 1000 kg of G and 1800 kgs of H are available. Okay, okay. Now, what they can, their company hold no inventory and it can sell the units it produce. Obviously, the company has a limited production, but all the units they can like produce. There is no issue in that. Or produce, they can be sold easily. Now, what is optimal mix? What is optimal mix means? What is the best mix? What is the best mix? How many units we can produce? How many units we can produce? So, optimum mix means the point where we will earn the maximum contribution. The point, the units, the mix means that how many X and how many Y will be made, how many units of both will be made. So, okay, let us calculate that. Let us calculate that. If you see in option A, he has given you 0 and 90, then 50, 60, then 60, 50, and 1 to 5 and 0. So it's very easy. It's very easy. You don't need to take see the graph. It's very easy. How? See, you are given with the contribution of both 8 contribution and 20. You know that the X is having the 8 contribution and Y is having the 20 contribution. and you are having all the mixes in the option, just apply and just calculate mixes one by one. Just calculate the contribution one by one. At the mix where the contribution will be maximum, we'll say that yes, yes, this is the option. So see, if you see product X in option A, product X is made 0 and totally we are making product Y. So in this option, let us calculate the total contribution. So we'll say the contribution of X is 8, but we are making 0 units in A option, plus 90 into contribution is 20. So total contribution we can earn in this scenario will be 1800. Total contribution we'll earn is 1800. Let us go to the second option. In the option where we'll be having maximum contribution, that will be best optimum mix. 50 and 60. So 50 units of X, and X has a contribution of 8 plus 60 into 20. So it will be 1200 plus 400, it will be 1600. Okay, less contribution. Now, next 60 units of X and 1 unit generating 8 contribution, plus 50 units of Y generating, okay, 1000 plus 6 at 48, it will be 1480. It will be 1480. It will be 1480. Wait a minute. 26, 12 plus 4. Okay. Yes. Now, next, X, 125 units of complete X multiply contribution is 8 plus 0 units of Y, making the contribution of 20. So 125 into 8. It will be 1000. Yes, 1000. So if you see in all options, only this A option is generating the maximum contribution. So this mix is the optimum mix, best mix. If you want to earn maximum contribution, only the option A is generating the maximum contribution. So answer will be A. Answer will be A in this scenario. Next question. A company manufactures two products L and M using material and labor. It holds no inventory, okay, and material and labor are given maximum monthly demand. Each month 50,000 liter of material and 60,000 labor are available, okay. Basically, we have to tell in all the options that which is limiting factor, either material or labor or both. Let us see. First, we'll do the calculation for material. First, we will do the calculation for material. It's step one where we identify the limiting factor. The calculation of that step one we have done in the lecture. So if you see there are two products L and M, and if you first see according to material, so 13 per unit material using on L, 19 per unit using on M, and the rate of per liter is also given. You can calculate the number of liters required on L and M. So 13 is total amount and 1 liter costs you 4. So 13 divided by 4, you are using how much liter here? Total you are incurring 13 on material on product L. So 13 divided by 1 liter costs you 4. So it means that L takes 3.25 liters, and 19 divided by 4 means 4.75 liters. So you got both liters, like 3.25 liters are required by L, 4.75 liters required by M. This is per unit. You will multiply it with the number of units. 6,000 units L is having and 8,000 units M is having. Just calculate the total. Just calculate the total. So 4.75 into 8,000, it will be 38,000 liter required here, and 6,000 into 3.25, 19,500 liter required here. If you add both of them, 19,500 plus 38,000, 38,000, it will be 57,500 liters you required in case of material, but you are having only 50,000 liter. It is confirmed that material is limiting factor. Material is the limiting factor. It's confirmed. It's confirmed material is the limiting factor. Now let us see for the labor as well. I'm just clearing the marker. Now we'll do for labor. So for labor, it's 35 total per unit, for total cost per unit, and 1 hour costs you 7. So 35 divided by 7, 5, 28 divided by 7, 4. It means L and M. L requires 5 hours of labor and this requires 4 hours. Multiply with the relevant units, 6,000 and 8,000. That will result in 30,000 total labor cost of L and 32,000 total cost of this. We'll add it it is like 62,000 labor hours required on L and M both, but you have 60,000 labor hours. So this means that both of material and labor are limiting factor. Both are limiting factor. Both are okay. Okay, so now we are having question 7. A company has following production planned for next 4 weeks. All the data is given. So selling price, raw material, direct labor, variable overhead, fixed overhead, profit, planned output, and direct labor hours per unit. Now he's saying in the question that only 2160 hours are available. Only 2160 hours are available rather than 4320 hours. So which product should we produce if we want to maximize the profit over the next 4 weeks? It means that he's asking about first two products, means we have to do the ranking and which product will be taking the ranking 1 and ranking 2. That product will obviously give you a proper profit. Let us calculate according to ranking. So easily we have to calculate contribution per limiting factor. Just calculate contribution is like selling price minus all variable costs. So variable costs are these three. So first we'll calculate all the contributions of the units. So number one, A will be like, wait a minute, 160 minus 24 minus 66 minus 24, 46 contribution here. Okay, let us also calculate contribution per limiting factor, because contribution we have calculated and a limiting factor is obviously labor hour, that is 646 divided by 6. So contribution per limiting factor will be 7.66 here. Next, 214 minus 56 minus 88 minus 18, this will be contribution per limiting factor 8, it will be 6.5. Okay, 100 minus 22 minus 33 minus 24. Okay, 21 is a contribution divided by 3, it will be 7. After that, if you see 140 minus 40 minus 22 minus 18, 60 divided by 2, it's 30. It's 30. Now the thing is that according to the ranking, number one is this one. After that, second will be, let me calculate it again. It's having a lot of high value as compared to other. D is 140 minus 40 minus 22 minus 18, 60 divided by 2. Okay, that's correct. Okay, number one ranking D, then A, then C and B. So we are confirmed that C and B will not be made. Now in the option, one option is D and A and option is D only. So for that purpose, we have to make the optimum production plan. Maybe only D is being made. Maybe you are not having the enough material that you can make A. So let us calculate that either only D will be made, or D or A both will be made, because obviously first two products are D and A. So optimum production plan, first of all, we know that only 2160 hours are available. So first we have to make D. Units of D are like 400. So we know that 400 into 2. 2 why? Why 2? Because labor hours required is 2 per unit. So we know that out of this 2160, out of this 2160, it will be like 800. So out of 2160, 800 hours can be used to make D. It means D can be made completely. After that, obviously, we have remaining 2160 minus 800. It is 1360 left. Now we have to make A. Now we have to make A. The number of units of A are 300 into one unit requires 6 labor hours. 6. It's 1800. It's 1800. It means that A will not be made completely, but A will be made. Some units of A will be made. How many units of A will be made? We know that if less hours are available and more hours are required, what we do? Just take this 1360. Take this 1360 and divide it with the limiting factor per unit, that is 6. So 1360 divided by 6 will be 226. Will be 226. It means only 226 units of A will be produced. That will require 1360 hours. It means D and A both can be produced to maximize the profit. So we'll say that A is the answer. A is the answer. If only, for example, if only the total hours you are having 2160, only it's being utilized only on D, then C is the answer. But here we are seeing that D is only requiring 800 hours out of 2160, and remaining hours you can utilize on A. So you can make both of the products, D completely and A only 226 units, obviously to maximize your profit. So A is the answer. Let's go to the next question. Okay, now this next question. C company uses material B, which has current market price of 0.8 per kg. In the linear program where objective is to maximize profit, the shadow price of B is 2 per kg. The following statement has been made. Which of the following statements are correct? Okay, let us see. Let us see. If you see, contribution will be increased by $2 for each additional kg of B, for each additional kg of B purchased at the current market price. So contribution, for example, if you are using additional B, obviously additional B, if you are using additional B, contribution will be increased by 2. So wait a minute, because so obviously what was the definition of shadow price? Shadow price was like if you are taking any product, and you are having any product in you are having anything in limiting factor, like here B is the limiting factor, here B is the limiting factor. So increasing one unit increasing 1 unit of that limiting factor will generate how much profit. This was the shadow price. Obviously shadow price concept we have discussed. So shadow price is increase in contribution by increasing 1 unit of limiting factor. So first statement will be correct, obviously, that contribution will be increased by 2 because it's the shadow price for each additional kg of material B purchased at current market price. Means if you are taking material B, if you are increasing material B by 1 unit, if you are increasing material B by 1 kg, 1 unit, not 1 unit, 1 kg, 1 unit mean 1 unit in the sense ke, like 1 kg. So increasing that by 1 kg will increase your contribution by 2. This is the definition of shadow price. This is correct. This is correct. Okay. The maximum price which should be paid for additional, no. Shadow price definition is not that maximum price you should pay for that B. It's not that. Shadow price is not the maximum price you are paying. Shadow price is the increase in contribution of a limiting factor. If you increase its 1 unit, contribution will be increased by 1.20 for each additional kg of material be purchased. No. They have this definition is of shadow price, but he has written the value wrong. He has written 1.2, not 1.2. It will be 2. Maximum price which should be paid for additional kg of B is 2.8. Yes, this is the thing. This is the thing. See, the maximum price which should be paid for additional kg of B, actually you will pay how much? First of all, you will pay the shadow price. Obviously, shadow price. If you are paying for additional kg of B, maximum price you can pay. You know that current price is 0.8. You know that current price is 0.8. You are paying 0.8 plus for example, just listen the concept. Just listen the concept. Just listen the story. For example, there is one thing in market. There is one thing in market that costs you 100. That costs you 100. Okay, now you are like confused. Now you are confused that this thing is short. This thing is short. Now you know that the amount you are already paying, the amount you are already paying is 100, because 100 is normal price, because 100 is a normal price. On the other hand, when you purchase that, you are earning 150 on that. You are earning 150 contribution on that. So, for example, if you want that product, so you can lose your contribution. You can lose your contribution. Why? Why? Because of the customer. Because you want to meet the customer demand. So you can lose your contribution, but not more than that value. You can say that okay, I am paying 100 plus I can like sacrifice my contribution, that is 150. I will pay maximum 250 for that. If anyone, because the product is short, anyone can charge you more than that. Anyone is saying that take it for 300, will not accept that, because 100 is a normal cost plus the contribution we are earning on that product. We can obviously sacrifice this, that in case of you, you want to meet the demand of the customer, you want to sell the product to customer. So you will not pay 300, you will pay maximum 250. Same scenario is given in the question. Normally you are getting it at 0.8, plus you are earning on additional unit, you are earning only 2. So maximum you can pay is 2.8. More than that you can't pay, because after that you will be having a great loss, right? So for that purpose, this statement is also correct. 1 and 4 both are correct. D is the option. D is the right option. Is that clear? Okay, so there's the next question, question 9. Each company manufacture two products X and Y. Quantities are given and they are sold at 60 and 25. This is a selling price. Variable cost details are given below. Material, labor, other variable costs for both X and Y, 45 and 13, right? Now they're asking that next month only 4,200 kgs of material and 300,000 kgs of labors are available. This is like the limit. This is the limit because as it's limiting factor. So this is the limit. This is the limit. Okay. Now if you see, the company aims to maximize the profit. Okay. Each company will use linear programming model to establish optimum production plan. Okay, linear programming. I already told you that graph will not come. Like you don't need to make the graph, but they can tell you, they can ask you to make the equations like we have done in the linear programming in the step 2. So x is the number of units of x, and y is basically they're indicating for x and y. For x they are indicating the small x, and for y they're indicating the small y. That's the point. Okay, what are the objective functions and constraint statements? Objective function and constraint statement, basically they want you to make the equations for that. They want you to make the equations for that. So let's make that. It's very easy. First of all, objective function. Objective function is always the contribute according to the contribution, because your objective is to maximize the profit, maximize the contribution. You always take the contribution as your objective function. So what will be the equation for that? If you see, the selling price for X is 40 and variable cost is 45, means contribution is 15 here. And selling price is 25 in case of Y and variable cost is 13, resulting in the contribution of 12. So equation for the objective function means contribution will be 15x plus 12y. 15x plus 12y. So either the answer is B or C. It can't be A or D, because obviously we have to calculate contribution and then we have to make the equation. Now let us see for material and labor constants. If you see the material, let me erase this one. If you see the material is given for product X, $15 per unit is being incurred, and for product Y, $5 are incurred. But here they have given you the rate per kg, amount per kg, that is 5. So on X, if you calculate 15 divided by 5, 3 kgs are required, and on Y, 1 kg is required. So equation will be 3x, because 3 kgs of X on X plus 1y. I can write only Y. 1 is of no need here. So 3x plus y. Now the kgs you are available with is 4,200 kg. So you will make here is less than or equal to, wait. Less than sign will be like this, is less than or equal to 4,200. It means that material you can use, you have a limit of 4,200. You can use either complete 4,200 or less. You can't use more because you are not having that. So this is the equation for material. And for labor, the rate is given 6. Total labor cost 24. 24 divided by 6, 4 hours X is taking, and 3 divided by 6, 0.5 hours Y is taking. So equation for the labor will be 4x plus 0.5y should be less than or equal to 3,000, because you are having maximum 3,000 labor hours. So just see the answers, just see the answer. It will be less than or equal to 3. It will be C. The answer will be C, because contribution function we have already, objective function we have already calculated 15x plus 12y. For this, 3x plus y should be less than or equal to 4,200. 4x plus 0.5y should be less than or equal to 3,000. Answer will be C. Let us go to the next question. So it means that from linear programming of the following statements about graphical linear programming with objective of maximizing profit is true. So let us discuss some theoreticals. Okay, so graphical linear programming mean obviously when we have done the linear programming, we have made the graph in the topic just like this I have made. So there is a ISO contribution line as well, which is used to indicate the optimum point. So first option is like if a resource constraint line does not pass the optimum point on the graph, means for example, this is the graph and this is the optimum point. This is the optimum point. It means just I'm assuming that optimum point means that this is the best point. This is the best point. So if you see this is the best point, now this line that is not passing that optimum line, it means it's outside. It means if it's outside the region, outside that optimum region, because this line is that is outside, this is not crossing the optimum point. Optimum point is only on, for example, if you assume this is A line, this is B line, and this is C line. So for A and B which are intersecting, that is generating the optimum point, but this C line is not on that optimum point, mean that it's not the part of optimum point. So this will not be obviously limiting factor. This will not be a limiting factor. And if it's not a limiting factor, it means it is not having any shadow price. It means it is not having any shadow price. Shadow price is always at the point where you are finding the optimum point. That's the point where you are having two limiting factors that are like intersecting, and you have to calculate the shadow price here. For the resources that is not having that is not the limiting factor, for that there will be no shadow price. So it's written if the resource constant line does not pass through the optimum point, means does not pass means C line, the shadow price of that resource is zero. Obviously it will be zero. Why zero? Because shadow price, we have learned in the chapter that shadow price is always of the limiting factor, the factor that is non-critical constant. Non-critical constant, like C here, C is non-critical constant, it's not critical constant. For the non-critical constant, obviously there will be no shadow price, because it's already available. It's the line C is it's already available in resources, just you are not able to utilize them because A and B is in limit. So C is not utilized completely. So it means it's not a critical constant, it's non-critical constant. And for non-critical constant, there is no shadow price. Shadow price will be zero. One is statement one is okay. The shadow price is maximum amount a company should pay for 1 unit. No, shadow price is the increase in contribution due to increase in limiting factor by 1 unit. So this statement is wrong. The slope or gradient on of the objective function. Objective function means that if we are making this line, for example, all the constants are like plotted here. So objective function line is this ISO contribution line, because it's objective function. Contribution is the objective function. So he's asking about ISO contribution line. So the slope or gradient on objective function depends on amount of resources available to the organization. Amount of resources available to the organization, these lines are indicating that how much amount of resources are available. This ISO contribution line depends on the contribution per unit of both products. Contribution of per unit of, for example, X and Y are having one contribution $1 contribution of X and $1 contribution of Y. Will say that ratio is 1:1. ISO contribution ratio is 1:1, will make the line ISO contribution. So it is depending on that contribution per unit, not on the amount of resources available, because ISO contribution doesn't relate with that. These lines that are upward, that are like we have made on the graph before making ISO contribution line, these lines depend on the amount of resources available on the organization. So answer will be one only. 2 and 3 are wrong. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, if the company is not able to increase availability of machines, C operational hours, what is the production ranking of Y? Okay, hours available, it's given here. It's given here. They have given you production rate per machine hour. Production rate per machine hour means that in one machine hour, how many units can be produced of W, X, Y, and Z. We can calculate machine hours per unit from here. If anytime the question is given like rate per machine hour or units per machine hour, just take the reciprocal of that. Reciprocal means if it's 200, calculate 1 over 200. You will get machine hours per unit per it. So 1 over 200 will be 1 over 200 will be 0.005 machine hours will be required here. 0.005. Wait. Okay. 500, 1 divided by 500, 0.002 hours available here, machine hours. 400, 1 over 400, 0.0025 machine hours available here. 1 over 350, 0.00285 hours available here. So now they're saying that if company is not able to increase the availability of machine C operational hours, so what is the production ranking? It's very easy. It's very easy. We just have to do the ranking of product Y, that at which rank product Y will come. Simply, we have to calculate always in the limiting factor, we do the ranking on the base of contribution per limiting factor. Simple. Just calculate contribution. Contribution is like material cost per unit and conversion cost per unit. Material cost is variable and conversion cost obviously they've said in the question the manufacturing company using machine C which is operational for 5 hours a day manufacturing 4 products W, X, Y and Z. Factory cost is this. The company uses throughput accounting and its objective is to maximize profit. So let's discuss that. Conversion cost is, we'll consider it as fixed cost. Material cost is variable cost because according to throughput accounting, all other costs other than material, even labor, even expenses, we are considering sometime the overheads are variable. But according to throughput accounting, only variable cost is material cost. Other than that, all conversion cost is fixed cost. So calculating the contribution or throughput through throughput accounting, obviously the contribution will be 350 minus 120. It will be basically this is the question of throughput, not limiting factor, but like it's like same concept in both chapters. So that's why he has mentioned here. So 230 contribution here, 190 minus 95, it will be 95 contribution here, 270 minus 160, it's 110, 215 minus 75, it will be 140. So contributions, all the contributions you have calculated, just calculate contribution per limiting factor. How? These are the limiting factors. So just divide 230 divided by limiting factor per unit 0.005, 46,000 machine hours. 46,000 is the contribution per limiting factor. Contribution per limiting factor 46,000. Next, 95 divided by 0.002. 95 divided by 0.002. 47,500 contribution per limiting factor here. After that, 110 divided by 0.0025. 44,000 contribution per limiting factor here, and 140 divided by 0.002857, 49,000, almost 49,000, almost 49,000, almost 49,000 you will get for the contribution per limiting factor for product Z. Now we have to calculate for Y that at which ranking Y will get. So if you see the most contribution for per limiting factor is generated by Z. So it will be ranked first. It will be ranked first. After that, on the second, X will be made because it's on the second point. Then third W, and at last fourth ranking you will have to make Y because we have calculated contribution per limiting factor and Y is having the least contribution per limiting factor. So we'll say that at the fourth point it will be made because it's at last. So this is the last MCQ we have done related to limiting factor. We are done with all the MCQs of limiting factor from Study Hub. But again, I'm saying that don't only rely on Study Hub as an assignment. You must focus on Kaplan, one more resource other than the resource I am doing in the videos. So let's meet in the next video, the next lecture. Till then, take care. Bye.